Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. I have something really quite special and unique for you today. I've recently decided I'm going to do a series on the German E-series tanks, made a lot more famous and readily identifiable thanks to World of Tanks. I'm not sure if you've actually played the game, but do yourself a favour and have a look at it. It's not bad, I enjoy it. I may have played a few battles. But yeah, so I decided I wanted to do the E-Series vehicles, and in the game it goes from the E25 upwards. But I basically decided I wanted to sort of pretty much get every sort of E-Series vehicle there was or there was meant to have been. Now, for those of you that aren't too sure about what the E-Series is, essentially Germany was looking for a way during World War II to increase their production and production rates, and reduce their production costs. So the concept was to develop a series of vehicles using similar suspension, similar tracks, engines, so on and so forth, to help with that. So you can imagine if you're tooling up for, say, a Panther tank, you can't use the parts on a Panther tank on a Panzer IV, but for most of the E-Series vehicles, the parts were interchangeable to a varying degree. So that was the whole idea. So it would ease their supply burden, it would ease the manufacturing and production costs, etc., etc. So essentially, they came up with a couple of concepts. First was known as the E5, then there was the E10, E25, E50, E75, and E100. Now, of all those vehicles, the only one that's really been confirmed to have been produced as a prototype was the E100. Now, they didn't complete a turret for it. They basically got most of the chassis completed, so most of this completed, and it was taken to the UK, I believe, after the war, and where it was later scrapped. So they never really got much further than that. They developed a couple of turrets as well. I believe the small turret, which was meant to be on later model Panthers, was supposed to be used on the E50, but it depends on what series. It depends on what sources you get your information from as to what's what. Essentially, most of them are paper Panzers. A lot of them were designed on paper, but never got any further than that. Now, this particular vehicle is a very strange one in the series, is that it's more than likely something which has sort of sprung up after the war as an idea. And as far as I'm aware, there really isn't any supporting evidence to say that it was ever designed or anything like that. Now, it's quite possible that it was designed and the plans were destroyed, but who knows. But it is an incredibly hard vehicle to find. There's a couple of resin kits on the market, but they're very expensive. And Amusing Hobbies has come to my rescue by doing a special with the E100 and releasing the E5 as a bonus with it. So as you can see, it's not for sale. It's a bonus that you get. You have to purchase both of them together, essentially. But yeah, so I thought, good place to start, the beginning and the end. I'll also be doing a review on the Trumpeter E100 as well, so you can compare that to the Amusing Hobbies. I've got that kit here waiting to be done. But we're going to start with the E5 and this E100. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoy it. This vehicle is very interesting. And I'll just get set up here. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to notice is the dual gun system on this tank. Now, these are not guns like the other tanks typically have. These were designed to be recoilless weapons with a large breech on them. So essentially, the weapon fires, it has a large charge but lower pressure thanks to the breech. So a lot of the gases are stored in the breech, and it propels the projectile along at a much lower rate than standard anti-tank guns or tank guns. Essentially, this was what they called a PAW 600. PAW 600, designation 8H63. and it actually tells you a little bit about it on the side of the box there. Blah, 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 blah. Vehicle itself was meant to have a 2-man crew. Now, it says it's an 8cm weapon. It was actually 81.4cm weapon. It was developed to be comparable with the mortar rounds for the Granatwerfer of 81.4 centimeters. So, millimeters. So the idea was you could actually change the ammunition between the two. So for the first time, you had a sort of a low velocity anti-tank gun firing a HE or hollow charge weapon, heat wet round or hollow charge weapon, but it could also fire very effective high explosive anti-infantry weapons as well, which was something that when you get a high performance anti-tank gun, they're generally a poor performance anti-infantry weapon. And that's just because of the velocities and the pressures involved. The casing on the round is really thick. You can't put much explosive in it. Blah, 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 blah. So that was the idea between these. There are also, thanks to the tooling, similar tooling with the 81.4cm mortar, they were quite easy to produce. They were much lighter than a standard anti-tank gun. They had a smooth bore as opposed to a rifled construction, so they were very easy to manufacture. And if you compare it to something like the Pak 40, it is said to have a similar performance to a Pak 40, firing out to about 700 to 750 meters with a tungsten cord shell, which they obviously didn't have very many of, but a tungsten cord shell on the Pak 40 had pretty good pen, and this weapon with the hollow charge would have 140 millimeters pen at 700 to 750 meters range. So it's similar, same sort of pen as the Pak 40 at that distance. They actually made about 250 of these weapons, not the tanks, but the actual guns themselves, for anti-tank duties. But even though some of them were deployed, there's no record of them actually being used in action, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, so the whole idea was E5, a vehicle between the 5 to 10 ton weight range. It was meant to be a scout vehicle, light anti-tank vehicle. There were going to be, apparently there were projected versions that were going to be APCs, so on and so forth. So it was a chassis that was going to be used for a lot of other uses. But as a lot of us know, they had a lot of projected stuff, but never really got around to doing it for various reasons. But enough of me yakking on. Let's have a look inside the kit and see what you get. So, box art's fairly simple, not a heck of a lot to it. Sorry, that was upside down, forgive me. So you can see there, it just gives you some drawings of the vehicle itself. So nothing too drastic, and a tiny little bit of information on the side there. Instructions, have a quick look at these. Very small tank, so it's not a very big vehicle, and the construction of it is very simple. Alright, so you can have a look there. You'd build this in minutes. It's not going to take you very long at all. By far, the longest part of the process is going to be painting it. So it's a fairly simple kit, and you've got some fictional paint schemes, we'll call them, probably loosely based on other vehicles. But that's the benefit. That's the beauty of this. You can do whatever you want. They never produced it, so you can have fun, do whatever you want, enjoy it, play around with it, muck about. So, and that's exactly what I intend to do. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to be doing on it yet, but rest assured I will be playing around with it, and it's going to be certainly a different vehicle. So just going to zoom in here. You can have a look at the moulding of these parts. Very good quality. An amusing hobby. I've never actually built a kit from them, but I'm anxious to get started on these two, because the kit itself, even though it's meant to be a limited production run, or I'm assuming it's a limited production run, it's very well made. So there's very little, if any, flash, no sink marks in areas on these pieces at least that are going to be any issues, and all the injector pin markings are hidden. So really looking forward to that. You can see the track guards here. There are some pin marks under there, but you're not going to see them once the thing's assembled. So I'm not worried about those. So it's really only the 3 sprues. All the sprues come bagged. And here we have our track system. So individual track links and very small road wheels. So not big at all. Typical suspension arms that you see on a lot of German vehicles, or similar to what you see on most German vehicles. So I'm assuming they're just guessing that this is based on a torsion bar suspension. Very similar at any rate. But yeah, there you go. Simple kit to build, but the production quality is quite nice, and I'm really glad that I spent the extra money to get this kit, because I'm not going to see too many of them around, I don't think. And I sure as heck wasn't going to spend a couple $100 to get a aftermarket, not an aftermarket, to get a low production resin one. And yep, simple decals, so you can really do whatever you want with this, and I'm really looking forward to building it. So thanks for watching. Next review I'm going to do is on the E100 from the same manufacturer, and then we'll start off the E series with the E10, or continue the E series rather with the E10, and moving up from there. And we've got all the kits ready to go, so they will be coming out very, very quickly. E5, very different little tank. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, whatever. If you don't like it, not a problem. Let us know why. Love to keep improving my videos, so if you've got any constructive criticism, by all means, let me know. Thanks for watching.